Make it special. Make it Maloney.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Good.
You're drinking some water.
I'm drinking water.
I'm so proud of you.
Yep, I try to do it every day.
So we are in the brand new renovated Harborview Room.
We haven't mentioned this little guy right here.
No, we have not.
Look how beautiful that tree is.
It's gorgeous.
Really?
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. And it goes along with the theme and the decor that we have in here, which is the modern coastal interior design theme here in the Harborview Room.
Lisa Perry will
And
completely
Lisa
appreciate
Perry
that.
is here.
Absolutely.
She's back.
I'm back.
Our resident
Real estate expert.
Real estate expert, exactly.
She's brought us gifts today. She's brought us knowledgeable gifts.
Yes.
Because she
She's
started
always
talking about
knowledgeable.
her subject matter today. It's like I was doing trigonometry. I didn't know what she was talking about. So go a little slower now, Lee, and tell us what
Oh,
you.
you're funny. You're funny. Well, thank you. I thought today maybe we talk about interest rates, since people, obviously that's a big part of the price of a home. The price of a home is the price plus what does it cost to finance the home.
Right.
So right now, interest rates have spiked again, which the National Association of Realtors, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the Mortgage Bankers Association are predicting they will now rise exponentially over the next 4 quarters. So what does that mean? A lot of people think that means that home prices will decrease. However, the last 4 times that interest rates have dramatically increased in the 80s and the 90s, home prices did not decrease. That could be attributed to a good economy, consumer confidence, higher wages. So right now, the interest rates are hovering around 4%. In June, they were 3.2, around that percentage. One of the reasons, obviously, rates go up is during a presidential election year. People tend to take their money out of the stock market, out of the investments that are a little more, what would you say,
Volatile.
aggressive and volatile, put their money in treasury bonds. The interest rates then go down.
Right.
Once the election is over, the interest rates go up higher. Usually a better economy will keep interest rates higher. So I'm here to talk about how does that affect the price of homes. But the Wall Street Journal had an article last week that said, do not expect the prices to go down due to the sensitivity of the interest rates, which was an interesting article going back over the last few times that I spoke about, where the home prices did not go down.
So what's interesting about this is, and we can project all day long if this would have been the same effect had the Democrats gotten in. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I believe
but there's
so.
there's a sense that with all the other baloney aside, there's a confidence meter that's up now.
100%. Yes.
Okay, I do believe that it's up, and the stock market is showing that, and that's translating also. So, which means if a percentage in the interest rates or a fraction of the percentage of interest rates for housing went up by X, and it only made a difference in a payment of $50 or $60, oh well, that's okay. That we can cushion that, right? That's what we're hearing.
Yes. However, usually if a percentage goes up a percentage point, it could be a 10% difference
Yes.
in what a buyer will purchase, the purchase price that a buyer would
right.
look at.
But nothing
That's-
would go up at a point.
That's a lot.
Well,
It went a point already?
Well, 3.2 in June. It's 4. It's hovering around
It is.
4 right now. So 1% can mean 10% of a home price. So that is a substantial,
significant.
difference. I
Yes.
think, based upon what's happening right now, the buyers are still out there. There's still a little bit of a lower inventory. Port Jeff has a decent amount of homes on the market compared to
50-something still?
Yeah, still 55 or so, but it's still right now hovering more of a seller's market because there's not a lot of inventory. It's the time of the year, obviously we try to tell people that hopefully in a month or so there'll be more inventory out
Right.
there.
Right.
But I think that for a buyer, it's still a good time to buy right now because the interest rates are still at 4. Amazing. I mean, I was mentioning to you before, in the 70s, the interest rates were 8.8%. In the 80s, it were 12.7%. The 90s was around 8.9. Even in 2000, the interest rates were 6.2%. So in 2016, 4%, it's still the lowest it's been in
fantastic.
4 decades.
Right, exactly.
I think I told you the story. When it was 1981, I bought my first home in 81 at 18% interest.
Yeah, yeah.
But the crazy thing is, it was college housing, so it's a little bit different, but I made it. I made cash flow. The house
Right,
doubled or
right.
tripled in value. It worked out,
Right.
which would lead you to believe that there's no bad time to buy real estate.
Right, especially now, I feel is just a phenomenal time to buy, and even though they're predicting, like I said, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac predicting that the rates will go up over the next 4 quarters, I don't believe they're going to go up to even what they were in the beginning of 2000. I have a lender who I recommend very highly to a lot of my buyers. Diane Goodwin from Evolve Bank. I'm just going to give her a little plug.
Please, yeah.
Well, I've
She's
spoken to
wonderful.
her.
Yeah,
She's really sweet.
She's fabulous and has some great first-time home buyer programs. I have a lot of young couples. She does Sony Mae, so it's still a great time to buy. Even though the rates are going up, but they're not going to go up, and they haven't gone up in
Yeah, but
for
even if
decades.
and it's all relative, right? Because even if they go up to 5-6%, that's still really good.
It's still, yes.
But it's good to know what you just described before. Like, I didn't know that could affect the price of a home by 10%. I mean,
Yeah.
that's significant.
I feel, and I work more with buyers. As I said, I am accredited buyer representative. I think what scares people more than anything are the taxes. Wherever I go, I mean, people are, it's always about the taxes because that's the unknown. Because taxes can go up.
Yeah.
They
and
never go down. They only
never
go up.
Exactly. So, whether or not taxes at $15,000 or $10,000 make a huge difference in the monthly payment, and people tend to be more concerned with the taxes than the interest rates right now.
Yeah, my escrow payment's more than my mortgage.
Right. Yeah.
So the fact that there's a foreseeable increase in rates, that bodes well for people taking action too. They should take action because
Correct.
they can lock in.
Correct. And that's why even the people that I'm working with now, you try not to pressure or
scare.
or even be that pushy salesperson. I'm trying to give them advice. I don't consider myself a salesperson anyway. I consider myself an advisor when you're buying a home. And you advise them, this is what could happen. The rates could go up. However, they're not, they haven't gone up. I mean, but since June, from 3.2 to
They've gone up.
4.0, that's, as I said, they're hovering around 4 right now. That's substantial because that percentage can affect the price point of the house you can purchase.
And by the way, that's for people that have great credit.
That's correct. Oh, yeah. I'm
And
talking about.
We know that since 2008, a good percentage of people have lost, degraded their credit.
Correct.
Yes.
So that translates into
Yes.
higher.
Yes.
And I think probably this will affect commercial more because commercial looks out 10 years for rental.
Correct.
And that could get you in trouble, especially in a pressurized society where retail space is getting a little weird, right?
Yes, correct. The commercial business is tremendous. There's a lot of empty storefronts and availability. Maybe we could talk about that in another time. But
yeah, I think we
the
can
amount-
dedicate a whole segment to
Yeah,
that because
absolutely.
of what I've talked about before, the Amazon society, where you have to be real smart about the amount of space you have. All over, I've seen gyms that have cut half of their space in half.
Absolutely.
They have to. But also you can
Absolutely.
run it a little more efficiently. And then again, take a look at this village that's becoming an entertainment and a food eatery type of village,
Right.
where I don't know how the little guy that's selling trinkets can do it.
Well, the good news is that they do keep a limit on how many wet spaces there
Correct.
can be.
Correct.
And it has to do with parking spaces. So I think that's a great, next segment to talk about.
Yeah.
So, because there's so much that involved
yeah,
in
what
the
you
commercial.
should. I know you repost the show, and we appreciate that. Maybe on your repost, ask people what they'd like to hear more about.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Say- and we'll talk about it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
Sooner or later we'll go live here and we'll be able to do that live, but it's better to be prepared
absolutely.
anyway.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Yeah. So I know you wanted to talk about some other
I
things.
do. I'm going
Please.
to put my different hat on for a second. Exciting, of course, is our Treasure Park. As if people drive by now, you could see that the park has been demolished, finalized some other things yesterday. We had a meeting, and interestingly, some really exciting news. So I want to throw it out there so people aren't surprised if they drive by and see some changes that were not originally part of the plan. The park is being moved 19 feet over toward the basketball courts, away from the drive into, because we didn't want to have the park so close to the curb. And in doing so, we're going to now redo the basketball courts, which is fabulous news.
Fabulous.
I just want everybody to know the courts are going nowhere. They're not, because that's a big concern. People started asking as soon as we started the park renovation, are you taking down the courts? No, the courts are going to be there. But before we get a signage up, because this just was decided, that we want to let people know that the courts are going nowhere. They're going to be refurbished for the spring, just like the rest of the park. So it's a new park, new tennis courts and new basketball courts.
Wow.
And that's really
fantastic.
exciting. I think people will love that.
Is there going to be an estate fencing or any kind of fencing around this park? Do you know?
I don't believe. I'm trying to remember now. That's a really good question. There has to be some sort of fencing.
I think there might be. Yeah.
There's going to be a beautiful entryway with an archway, and then you're going to walk into this triangle wall, which I also want to mention. We still have tiles available for the families at $150. Your family name can go on the tile. It will stay there forever, and it's going to be a mosaic triangle when you first walk into the park. And then we also have for families, because we did have the big ticket sales, like we sold the water fountain, or we sold the flagpole for $8,000, so we did all these other donations. But for families that just want to be involved, that have been in the village for many, many years, or from other areas that say they love Rocketship Park, we also have planks that we have a bridgeway, and you can actually purchase a plank for $250 with your family name on it.
Nice.
So those are the two nice things that we still have available for families. Just get in touch with me. My number is usually posted. And
Yeah, give your email out.
so you can email me at lisa@jprealtor.com. So lisa@jprealtor.com, or pjconservancy@gmail.com for the information on the park.
You want to give an update on a Conservancy? And I know you have a listing for us to tell us about too, right?
Yeah, well, we just had our, Judy Carmichael concert. It was just a wonderful event.
Are we going to get Judy on the show?
Yes, it's so funny because I know Karen, we both
Yes.
reached out to her.
Yeah, we did.
She's been traveling, but
Yep.
she actually emailed me the other day and told me she's going to send me some dates, because I
Oh,
told
great,
her I was
great.
coming on today.
Great, it'd be
And I
wonderful.
think she'd be fabulous. She's just wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be
I
nice
love
to
that.
see, hear from
And
her
spend a little
perspective.
time with
Yes,
her.
yes. So the Conservancy is still doing the things, fundraising. We have a meeting tonight, so we'll probably talk about our, some sort of winter smaller fundraiser. But we're constantly working, and we just sponsored Dickens Night, which I think I mentioned last time I was here.
Yeah, that was the Residents'
Residents Night. So which
on
was
Friday.
fabulous. I believe Renee Lemmerman, who's the superintendent of recreation, told me something like 8,000 people passed through the building on the weekend, and Residents Night or 500 people. It was
Wow,
really well
that's
received.
great.
The rinks donated free skating, and it was just a really fabulous night for the residents. It's very appreciated to have a night specifically for them during Dickens, and it was beautiful.
Awesome.
And we have a listing in our office. Actually, my broker, it's her listing, Jolie Powell Realty, and Jolie Powell's listing, 22 Waterview Drive in Port Jeff. It's a fabulous house, listed at $959. And it's absolutely beautiful with water view. So it's one of our higher end listings.
Yep.
Of course, I still have my listing out in Cutchogue, if anybody is interested in that one as well. So yeah,
We'll show both in the background.
Okay.
And how much is your listing?
$1,311,000.
But we talked about this. The taxes are only
11,000. So that's that discussion we were having before, because this listing in Port Jeff or up in, is the taxes are 21. So that almost puts my house
Correct.
cheaper,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
Yeah.
I just did have a client, and this happened, this is what I was talking about before. They purchased a $540,000 house with taxes at $10,000 as opposed to a $479 house where the taxes were $15,000. They thought it was a better purchase for them because the taxes were so much lower. So it really depends on.
Depends on if you have to be here. A, B, what your accountant says about the tax write-off.
Yes,
a couple different
exactly.
things, but from an affordability factor, that
Absolutely.
that variability makes sense.
Yeah.
Lower taxes, better
Right.
payments.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely. Well, to get more information, perryproperties.org, right?
Yes, perryproperties.org, or you can
Nice
go
ring to it.
Exactly, or you can go to just email me at lisa@jprealtor.com.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
If we don't see you next week, which we won't, we'll see you
Right.
right after Christmas.
Yes,
Have
right
a very
after.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you,
Christmas.
Karen.
And I'll see you
Thank
around
you,
town.
Kevin. All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Bye.